So, welcome to this Fluido video about intelligent pricing. So here I'm talking with Juha Teljo about intelligent pricing and what it means in practice. So when you sell something, in addition to sell the right product, it's important also to have the price on the right level. So how do you see on this topic?
Yeah, pricing, I think it's hard to imagine anything in sales that is discussed more than price. Everything is always about price. Our prices are too high, they're too low, this is the reason for everything, right? First of all, when we talk about intelligent pricing, the first thing is, of course, to understand where the price really plays the role, right? Where is really important. So do some pricing analytics, for example. That's something we've invested a bit on in Salesforce, to be really able to understand where the critical marks for your pricing are, how they influence different customers, etc., etc. You can drive also, of course, a lot more sophisticated analytics, and we can get into that. But I think that's the main thing first, to understand where you are with that. But then also pricing is also a lot more than just the price as it's actually in the quote or in the order in the end. It's also about being able to put the right products, right services in context. So what a lot of the companies are now struggling is that as they're going through massive transformations that are changing their business models, is that it's very hard for their salespeople who are not used to maybe new kinds of services, not used to new kind of business challenges where you actually have to price things completely differently. They might be just completely new to the subject or whatever, and they're really struggling with this one. So how are we able to help them? What would make pricing more intelligent? What would make their pricing decisions more relevant for the customer? What would help us enable higher margins? I mean, there's lots and lots of questions that it comes to intelligent pricing. So it's not just a single thing. It's more like a number of factors combining whatever we could call as intelligent pricing.
So you mean that, for example, if you launch some new product, there could be some ways to help the product management through some analytics get the price on the right level. But how do you see when the salesperson is actually quoting some products to at that very moment to get the right prices, to get the right discount, so you win the deal but still make good profit there?
Exactly. I mean, that's a perfect question. I mean, what you have to ask yourself as a company, of course, is first of all, do you want to optimize your prices based on winning more deals or optimizing margin, for example? This is a company strategic decision, and it could also be different for different customers and different segments, right? But when you get into that, yes, if the CRM experience is smart, it's actually going to advise and help the salesperson to make the right decision. So as a simple example, we could take, for example, Einstein pricing guidance, which is something that is coming up now in our summer 19 release of CPQ, which is basically guiding the salesperson through the process. It's basically trying to give the salesperson the ammo they require to come up with the right pricing for that specific customer. There's also lots of other options that you could do around intelligent pricing. For example, use AI for it. So like one of our customers, actually here in Finland, is currently in a process of using Einstein to understand what are the things that actually impact the pricing difference between their reference price and customer specific price. And by able to build models around those things, they're able to help the users and the salespeople who are just not accustomed into doing such things. So they're basically trying to help everybody to be able to be making smartest pricing decisions based on those type of complex situations.
Okay, so I guess one clear advantage of then having all these different functions on the same platform, so the analytics, the quoting, the CRM, is that you actually then have the data there and you can then use it in these different ways that you described.
Absolutely. So everything about smart and intelligence these days is probably, well, not everything, but mostly it's about data. Intelligence is mostly about data. And when you basically have all this data available in context in your CRM system, you'll be able to drive, for example, more intelligent pricing, because all the factors impacting pricing, whether they're relating to the general engagement you have with your customer, your product features or product properties or capabilities, all the things and about your customers, the activities you have, then all these things can feed into the same sort of let's say, learning experience that allows us to provide a smarter CRM experience. So again, make sure that the user is able to be smarter at the critical moment when they face their customer.
So you mentioned this pricing guidance, which is about to be released in the summer 19. So can you tell a little bit more about how that works? So we understood that the purpose of it is to guide the salesperson to get the right price, but how does it then actually work? How does it do it?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So it's part of our CPQ offering, and what we do there is we basically provide some analytics around pricing. What are the points that actually impact pricing? How does it work? And it basically allows you to create the profile of price and recommendations that you then attach to specific products, for example. So exactly the outcome would be that when the user decides that I'm going to quote a specific product, the salesperson will then see a recommended price for the specific occasion that actually fits into the company guidelines of what they really want to drive with pricing.
Okay, and how does it then get that recommended price? So I guess it needs some historical data then of what you have been selling earlier?
Exactly. We do some pricing analytics on the background, right? We try to understand what's happened with the price, what's the distribution it has been, how it's impacted opportunities, and then that information is used to generate the best recommendation for that specific product. But it's all something that can be fully controlled by the administrator, because of course it's one thing about what the data tells you, but you also have to take into consideration what the company's priorities are. Right? How do they need to drive the price? What are they using the price for? Do they want to drive maximal engagement with the customer or maximal, let's say, a margin or just win rate or whatever? All these things have to be considered, and we give you that flexibility to put all those things into account when you come up with your intelligent pricing.
Okay, so in the same way as your administrator would then configure the CPQ to fit your business, your products, your processes, that you then also configure it to work with your business model in each case.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching, and thanks, Juha, for the interesting discussion. And stay tuned for more videos about smart CRM the coming weeks.